Hi, in this video, I'd like to teach you how to work with pendulums. So all a pendulum is an object that is kind of evenly weighted at the end of a length of chain or string or ribbon or pretty much anything that will help it dangle. So it doesn't have to be a fancy crystal. It doesn't have to be expensive. You could make them out of office supplies. You could make them out of anything lying around. So something like this on a piece of ribbon, a piece of string, even a strand of your own hair, if you happen to have one spare. You could use a pendant like this, jewelry of any kind, as long as it swings. But for the purposes of today, I'm going to use this carnelian pendulum. Okay, so there's no right and wrong way to hold it. It's whatever works for you. The main point is that you're going to be comfortable, okay? So I quite like to hold it just over 2 fingers, like so, wrapped around and just dangling. Yeah, the little bead at the top is quite helpful. Just this literally stops it sliding out of my fingers. That's why that's there. Just whatever is comfortable. You may prefer to hold it like this or like this. You may prefer the other hand. Just have a bit of a play, have an experiment. Maybe you like to wrap it around your whole hand. Many people do that too. As long as there's enough of a drop that it's going to give a good swing, because that's what we're interested in. It doesn't matter too much as well if your end, the pendulum here, has any chips in it or is not exactly evenly weighted. You'll just get used to working with it, because as long as it's consistent, then you can interpret the answers from it. So I'm going to use my right hand because I'm right-handed and I'm comfortable with it and I'm used to doing it. I'm also going to rest my elbow on the table here. Just adjust this. Okay, and the reason I'm resting my elbow here is so that I don't get tired, but also it just keeps my hand a little bit more steady. Now, what's happening here is that basically it's physics. The pendulum will just naturally move because it's free and there's nothing sort of stabilizing it, holding it in place. And it's going to continue to move because of tiny micro movements in my body. So tiny signals coming through, ones that I can't perceive and I'm not intending, or I'm not deliberately making it move. It's just moving because I am slightly moving. We're always moving. We're never at complete rest. We're always vibrating. We're always like having tiny movements of some kind, something like micromotor movements. Now, what makes this really interesting for your psychic abilities, for divination, for working with your intuition, is that it acts as an amplifier for your thoughts. So you can learn to ask questions about things you need an answer to that are clear, that are yes or no. Okay, it can't be a complex question. It needs to be a yes or no question, and that will become clear as to why. We ask these questions of ourselves because up here we're not quite sure of the answer. This is usually because we're really full of self-doubt. We're really unsure if we trust our own thoughts. We're certainly unsure if we trust our intuition. We tend to give us authority to our thoughts and our doubts all the time. So what happens here is we're bypassing this by watching this, because it's going to move according to the inner wisdom, your intuition. It's coming from the body. It's coming from these tiny movements. Now, before we start, what you have to do is you have to calibrate your pendulum. And this is totally individual. This is totally idiosyncratic for each person. And how it moves will depend on how you move and the nature of your pendulum itself. So for me, usually a yes answer goes in one circular direction and a no answer goes in the other. But for some people, it will be the other way around. For others, it will swing one way, perhaps left and right, and perhaps, for the other answer, it will go perpendicular to that. So you just have to have a play with it and work out what's consistent, because consistency is the key. So you ask a bunch of questions you know the answer to are yes, and a bunch of questions you know the answer to are no. Until you have that consistency and you're allowing it just to move, you're not trying to think it to move, you're not trying to control it, you're just allowing it unconsciously to be moved by that unconscious bodily wisdom, then that is you working with your pendulum. And then you can start to ask the questions that you don't consciously know the answer to. So I'll just give a bit of a demonstration. Okay, so my name is Kirsty. We all know that. So, okay, here we go. Yeah, as always, nice deep breaths, cleansing, calming, centered, just feeling in the body. Is my name Kirsty? Okay, so we can say to me that looks very much like a clockwise sort of roundy round. That's nice and clear. Okay, so that's a yes. Okay, at the time of filming this, am I 39 years old? It doesn't want to answer. That's telling me something about my unconscious. Okay, am I 39? Yes, and that is true. I am 39 at the time of filming this. Oh, it's amazing what you can find out. That is according to my birth certificate, so you never know. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Do I have 2 children? Yes, I do. I have Victor and Gabriel. Thank you. Okay. Now I'm going to ask some no questions just to show you the difference. Now, it may be subtle from your point of view, but certainly for me holding it, it's very, very clear. And you'll find this for yourself when you try it. Okay. Is my name Bob? No. See, going the other way. If you're noticing any movements in my hand or my arm at all, that's okay. That's just the unconscious motor movements I talked about. They should be very, very tiny. There we go. Okay, so that's a no. Going the opposite way. Okay, do I live in France? Nope. You may notice that the faster you ask these questions, the more pronounced and the bigger the movements become. That's because you become more relaxed and you become more in flow with the activity and what you're doing. And you're not allowing room and time for those doubts to come in or to feel awkward about it or to start questioning what you're doing. Okay. Do I love cats? Okay, so it's going the other way now. So that's a definite yes. Do I really love cats? Okay. Could I be said to be a bit of a crazy cat lady? Okay. So these are the things that I know. Okay, so now I could ask something that I don't know the answer to. It has to be yes or no. I can't say something like, what should I have for dinner tonight? Or what would be the best day of the week to start my new plan? Because it's not going to tell me Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. But what I could do, I could ask, is Monday a good day to start my new project? Is Tuesday a good day? And so on until I find an answer. Also, it's really, really helpful when you want to make decisions between things as well. And a really good way of doing that is if you get a piece of paper, pen, any color pens or anything of your choice, get creative, get arty with it. And say you want to make a decision between choosing between 2 courses. And if you are making a decision like this, you might find that your pendulum behaves in one of 2 particular ways. Either it starts to kind of feel like it's being pulled towards one or the other. Sometimes it can feel pushed away from one. Perhaps if you pulled deliberately your pendulum here and you felt a kind of resistance, like it's moving away. Or perhaps it's attracted to something, as though it's been magnetized or repelled. Or what you can do is you can just hold the pendulum over each option and get a sense for which one might be giving you the strongest yes answer. Or depending on your question, perhaps it's a no answer that you're looking for. Have a play. Best way. You can also use your pendulum to help you find lost items. So for example, if you think they're in a particular room of your home or your office, you would simply draw out a rough plan of that room, getting in doors, windows, bookcases, anything of significance, any big pieces of furniture, especially where anything might have slipped or disappeared underneath. Just draw in very roughly, as long as it's a good representation that feels right to you. The details don't matter. You can always add more detail in if you want more information. And then simply, rather than asking yes or no, you would ask yourself, where is the lost item? And you would move your pendulum around until it gave you some information. It would move in that yes direction. I'm not particularly looking for anything here, but it's interesting. I'm feeling a pull. I'm feeling very much that the pendulum has been pulled towards yourselves. Many pendulums, if you are using crystals, they will have a magnetic property to them. So that is something that you will notice. You will notice that you can actually feel them as they move, and they want to move in certain directions. This is definitely wanting me to look over here for something. So I'm going to find, yeah, it's wanting me to look here for something. Okay, that which is interesting. There's a mirror and a pot stand. It's a Victorian table type thing over there, and an old chair. So when we're done, I'm going to go and have a look. Okay, so very simple. Equally, you could go big, and you could get a map, and you could decide, well, where do I want to go? Where would be the best place for me to go today on a trip? Or where would be the most inspiring place for me to take my family on holiday? And you can just explore a map and just see where it feels like it's being pulled. Oh, that was interesting. It felt like it was being pulled that way and then pushed back this way. Doncaster. Why not, I guess. And pulled somewhere. Nope, it's not Doncaster. Oh, up towards Pendle. Oh, here we go. Let's see, starting to turn. Okay, interesting. This wasn't intending on this, but there we go. Apparently, right here where the pendulum is moving, there is Ilkley Moor, where there has been an alien encounter, according to this map. And also Pendle Hill, where the witch trials were conducted, just near Lancaster. So it's getting bigger and bigger here. How interesting. Okay, note to self. Another way you can use it, super simple, is draw a body. You probably gathered that I'm no artist. That doesn't stop me. Art takes many forms. And you just simply draw a shape of the body, and as you're drawing it, just have the intention that this is your own body, or perhaps the body of someone that you wish to douse for. And then simply take your crystal, nice and steady. You'll have to keep your arm up this time though, because you want to move it. And just notice again where it's been pulled or been pulled back to here. Okay, so it's been pulled to here. So is this an area I really need to work on? Is this something I should be doing here? Okay, it's telling me no. Okay, fine. Okay, is it someone else? Maybe I should be helping? Yes. Ah, well, that makes sense. One of my little sons recently, we think, has developed an allergy, food allergy. Is that what this is about? Yeah. We just recently, today, in fact, contacted our GP. So that makes perfect sense. Okay, so you can see some very simple, many ways to work with pendulums, and you can be creative with it. You know, you could swap hands, you could get a different feel for it. You could buy antiques and put one together, and you could also have the experience of psychometry with that as well, maybe connecting with the past. You can make them out of favorite crystals, ethically sourced, of course, pebbles, seashells, like I said, stationery, anything you like. And yeah, so I'll pop some more information in the module here for you, and let me know how you get on. So happy dowsing.